All right. So basically, how this goes is I'm gonna ask you some questions. There are relatively simple questions, kind of about who you are, where you come from, how'd you get started with what you do. Then we will ask you about your music. We'll ask you where your song came from. How you got into the style of music, where you see yourself going, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'll ask you for your shout outs, who you like to thank, who do you appreciate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's really kind of simple, but it gives an opportunity for people to find out who you are as a person, who you are as an artist, rather than just uh, what you sound like or what they perceive you to be.
Right.
So, like, I've had a lot of people that come on and they are not who you imagine them to be. Um, I do have to let you know that this is. I know I've listened to your song. I know it's not exactly PG rated, but people are focused more on the interview, and then the song is creative license or whatever. So I
Yep.
do try to be a bit professional with my language, and I prefer if you guys do too,
Yep.
because I mean, hip hop it's got its roots in being crude and stuff like that. And I'm not assuming anything about you, but I'm also letting you know that this is being recorded and it's going on YouTube. And I
Right.
don't really want to get demonetized more than I already do
Right.
because
I understand how YouTube's like community standards are a little dry. So
yeah,
I can I do kind of have the habit of like swearing like a pirate, but
yeah, yeah, I do too.
try to catch myself as much as I can.
I mean, my toddler is really bad about repeating everything,
Oh my
and
god.
so I have to be really careful around him because like somebody pull out in front of me in traffic, I'm like, and my son would be like, "Yeah, you fought him off, right?" I'm like, "That's what I said. I fought him off. Yes."
Yep.
So yeah, that is something. I have to ask you, what was it like working with Bizarre?
You know what, man? When it was fun because the thing is I've been listening to Bizarre since like listening to D12. He had an album called The Handicap Circus
Mm-hmm.
that I bought. Um, but when I reached out to Bizarre because I follow him on Facebook and he was doing features.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm like, you know what, man, I'll just reach out and just see what he's about. So I reached out to him and he told me how much he was charging for a feature, and I was like, man, I can't pass this up. I'm like, this is well within my budget.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my boy, we saved up a little bit, grinded for about a month or so, and got the money for it. And I communicated with Bizarre a little bit back and forth. His email and his conversations were pretty short,
Mm-hmm.
which I understand because he doesn't know me personally, but the fact that he accepted um, the feature and was willing to do it, man, was something that was super awesome, and that kind of gives me bragging rights.
Hell yeah. I mean, like, I listened to the song and I was like, this definitely has that Detroit feel to it. You know what I'm saying? It's a real tight beat. It's really simple, and it's got melodics in the back with a decent bass. And I was like,
Yep.
yeah, I feel this. I feel this. This felt like it could be a feature piece for something Bizarre would do.
So we had the idea to put Bizarre on a song, but we didn't really figure out which song, right? So
Hmm.
we had that beat already in the computer, and I just pulled that beat up, and I feel like this would be a great fit. And then I came up with the idea of the song theme of the bank job, and my boy Jay, who's in the group with me, who also does a lot of my the mixing and engineering
Hmm.
for the albums and the songs as well. And he chipped in quite a bit, and he had a lot to do with the process of that coming to fruition. But yeah, man, I was super stoked with that. Super stoked with that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it myself. It was not what I expected from a group called Statues, but when I saw it, when I saw the title, when I saw the feature, I was like, Okay, because I mean, I'm predominantly into hip hop. That's how I got my start in music. I got my start in music with classical piano, but I got my adult level into music with hip hop, R&B. Warren G was my first purchase tape.
Right.
Put a little age on me. So like this was really dope for me. It's my first hip hop artist that I've actually been able to feature and play some music for. So that being said, let's get this party started. Where are you guys from?
So we're based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my boy Jay Aki, we both grew up in North Minneapolis. We went to middle school and high school together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we've known each other for a very long time, and we've been doing music and hip hop together for as long as we've known each other.
Oh yeah.
And the funny thing about how we met is that we met in middle school. We actually met through rap battling. Because in middle school and high school, we used to have these like little ciphers and like
Yeah, yeah.
we rap battle. And I have the first time I ever met Jay was from actually me rap battling him, and we would go back. We went back and forth the entire time during lunchtime. And the fact that we had a constant back and forth, I think, kind of gave each other respect, and it started a friendship that that's lasted over 15 years now,
Oh yeah.
20 years now.
So, what actually got you into music?
So um, where I grew up at, um, I grew up in North Minneapolis, so the neighborhood um, isn't the nicest neighborhood. But the thing is that I grew up around a bunch of different types of people. Jay was the same way too. There was a lot of there was white kids, there was Hmong kids, there was black kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in a house where with my mom, it was a lot of classic rock, it was a lot of Motown, and with my old man, with my dad, it was a lot of hip hop. So whenever I was with my mom, it was stuff like ACDC, Kiss, um,
Right.
Bob Seger, things along those lines. And then with my old man, it was a lot of old school hip hop stuff like Dr. Dre, E40, Nas.
That
But
hurt my heart a little bit. You said that's old school hip hop. It's like, I expect you to be like Jam Master Jay, Grandmaster Flat. No, no, no. Old school hip hop.
now we had some of that in there, but just I remember because every car my dad had, he would throw subs and amps in it, right?
Yeah.
So I remember being as a kid in the back seat, vibrating the whole damn time because my dad's playing like E40 and Sally Cell and stuff like that. So my old man was a big influence on my love for hip hop, but my mom was a big influence for my love of everything, outside of that. Um, but the thing is, though, is that rhyming and hip hop is more of a natural talent for me versus like, picking at a guitar and playing
Mm-hmm.
piano. I suck at that. So yeah, man.
So, what would you say your musical influences are?
Um, Me and Jay, we have parallel tastes when it comes to music. I think that's another reason why we're able to work so well with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't necessarily speak all the way for him, but I can say like a lot of my favorite artists growing up, I was and still am a huge Tech Nine fan. Um, Tech Nine, Atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
which is a group from Minneapolis. They've been around for about 25, 30 years. Um, a lot of West Coast stuff, a lot of East Coast stuff. It's a big blend as far as hip hop goes. Um, so everything that's like 90s and early 2000s is pretty much like embedded in my DNA.
I feel you. I feel you. So, just on the side, how do you feel about that flute album then?
Oh, from Andre.
Yeah.
You know what, man? Um, so I'm gonna be honest with it. I don't knock it, but it's not something I would listen to.
Right.
But because when I heard that Andre was dropping an album, I was like, damn. I'm like, okay, so Andre's gonna come with some rhyming, with some
Right.
lyrics.
Right.
So so when I heard it, and I heard it was like more of like an instrumental album. So I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I was thinking about it. And I'm like, okay. So I know Andre, he's progressed and he's matured over the years. Um, the fact that he was able to pick up a different type of musical endeavor and be good at it outside of hip hop, that's a flex, man. Because I don't know anybody else that's doing that. You know what I mean?
You a braver man than me. I wouldn't even listen to it. Like I feel like he is who he is, and he's always kind of been this outspoken, really, outside of the box. Even when he was in the midst of his hip hop, he's always walking around with the Robin Hood hat on and the puffy chest and the whole thing. So it's like, yeah, he's coming out with a flute album. I'm like, nah, that's like I appreciate acoustic. I appreciate acoustic instruments, but I can't imagine that being the vibe that I would expect. You know what I'm saying?
I, I don't
And
I don't think that was I don't think that was what anybody was expecting outside of
right. And I mean, like, I kind of feel like it's somebody using their influence to be creative, which is great. Having that license to be able to be as creative as you want to as an artist is great. But to do that on the backbone of the fans that you've had for 25 years and be like, oh yeah, we all grew up and matured, so here's something completely out of left field. Some people dig it, not my bag. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
like I said, man, it's not my bag either. Like I haven't been jamming around listening to it, but I did listen to it once and I gave it a shot.
right,
And I respect it. Like I said, I respect Andre as an artist because he is an amazing lyricist.
right,
Uh, but I mean, there's people that can find a good use for that for his type of music. I'm sure a lot of people can use it for like relaxation, meditation, things along those lines. But unfortunately, just for me, it's not something you're gonna catch me riding around in my car jamming hard to.
right. So, like, that's actually a conversation I've been having with my wife recently. There's been a lot of artists that were in their prime when I was in my prime with music, when I was 100% consumer, just enjoying everything I could. Like Paul Wall, Bubba Sparks, or Busta Rhymes just put out a new album.
You know what? I saw that and I didn't get a chance to dig into it yet, and I want to do that
I
here.
listened to I listened to a track and it felt like 1990s called, and they're like, "Hey, bro, we forgot to give you this album back then, so here it is now." And I mean, like, it had features from newer artists, but they 100% changed the way that they was doing it to fit his style. It was very much a, hey, I want to perform with Buster, so I do what I got to do to perform with Buster. And like, I digged it because I liked Buster when I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Again, aging myself quite hard at this point. But like the Bubba Sparks album is exactly the same way as it was, you know, when he did music, except now the lyrics are a little bit older. He's talking about, well, this is what I was. And like what's his face? Paul Wall did a song exactly the way he does songs, but he's with the Mexican OT. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Drody, these are cats that came up on his music. So when it came to find a person to collaborate with, they was like, "Oh, we'll do a Paul Wall ass song with Paul Wall, and bring these folks back into the light."
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like just to wrap all that whole just complete rant off into the left side is, I believe that first of all, this Andre album is kind of in the same vein of people realizing that they're not done with music, that just because they're older than 30 doesn't mean that they got to be out of music. You know, even Drake is 38. You know what I'm saying? J. Cole is 36. And these cats are proud to be, well, I'm almost 40 and I'm still producing music. These guys are like, I'm 45. I'm still making music. I'm still relevant. How is this an issue? And the, the idea that people are producing music everywhere means a lot of people that are the same age as all these guys are now able to make music and be free and be able to continue to feel relevant in the musical atmosphere. And I know that's a lot of words to be like, you know, it's no longer if you ain't 20 and supported by Sony, you can't make it. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, man? So I mean, there's music for all different types of age groups. I mean, I I'm gonna be honest, man. Most of my favorite rappers that I still listen to this day, that I still support, are guys old enough to be my dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Guys like Tech, E40, Atmosphere. Like a lot of these guys are in their mid to late 40s or even 50s.
Yep. I mean,
But
Snoop is 52, ain't he?
yeah, I mean, I think Tech Nine just turned 50, 51.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the thing is man, the younger people like to put a stamp on the age. As far as I'm concerned, like, cause I'm 30 years old.
Right.
I don't relate to a lot of people my age, because I'm not listening to a lot of the new artists coming up. Like it's not that I'm knocking it. I just don't dig a lot of the shit that's coming out.
Right.
But there is some younger artists that I like, that I dig. But like most of the stuff that I can comprehend and I can relate to are guys that are, that have been around for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years.
Right.
And as far as age goes, man, if you can make a decent living off this music stuff and you enjoy making it and you enjoy doing it, it doesn't matter if you're 60, 70 years old. If Tech Nine's 70 years old and he's still rhyming, I'm still gonna listen to a Tech Nine album.
Right.
You know what I mean? As long as I think it's good and I find it well, I'll still listen to it. Same thing with many other artists.
Just to be clear, I have to put this out there that our parents always talk bad about our music, so we have to talk bad about our kids' music. But I genuinely feel like the music, and I mean, I'm sure our parents said the same thing. I genuinely feel like the music that came up in my tentative years, the stuff from the 90s, the stuff from the 2000s, the stuff from the early 2010s or whatever, it all had a very specific vibe and a very specific change from the depressive music from the 90s, from the very hopeful but negligent music in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Anytime that there is a shift in society in general, you'll see that through the music. Like, I know you're way too young to understand this one, but in the early 80s, pop music was really big because there were so many depressing things going on. You know what I'm saying? There was, super bad inflation. The dollar wasn't worth nothing. Wages were stagnant. People were starting to feel the pain of a lot of political issues. And so the music was reflecting an ideal of what wanted to happen. And there's super pop, and then there was gangster rap, if you think about it. There's music in the late 80s, early 90s that were like, this is the way it is. This is how life is. We don't need to sugarcoat it. We don't need to cover it up. We don't need to have an idealistic idea of what it is. And as our society has become more optimistic, so has our music choices. If you think about all the music after like 2001, a lot of it was very reserved, but also optimistic. Right. And then when around 2010 happened, again, you might be a little bit too young to really understand the implications of that. That would have been freshman year in college for you, I guess? 2008?
Actually, nah, man. I graduated high school in 2011.
Oh. Well, damn, I just feel really old now. Thanks, bro. Ugh. So, like, you might not have known what was going on, but there was a huge market crash. A lot of people lost a lot of money because they were buying houses in order to try to make money in the market, and they lost it all. And so people weren't able to get jobs. People who had, engineering degrees were still working at Starbucks because there just wasn't people willing to pay for engineering. And right, like even like right now in the past couple of years, it has been a dynamic change in the way music is being presented. Everything's shorter, everything is a lot more poppy. Mainstream pop music has made a resurgence with a vengeance. Like bro country is the thing. You know what I'm saying? Pop country, pop rock. I mean, Post Malone has made like 3 pop albums now, or 2 pop albums, and now he's making a country album, and it's being well received because, first of all, nobody really believed how Stoney was really put together. But second of all, people want to have that optimistic vibe because they see the depressing things around what's going on. But just like in the early 90s, I also think that music like yours is going to have a resurgence because people are going to dig into this eat the rich thing. You know what I'm saying? People are going to be like, well, I'm working 40 hours a week and I'm living in an apartment with 14 dudes because I can't afford to be on my own. And ramen costs $20 a pack. And you know what I'm saying? And I feel like your music is kind of riding that edge of where gangster rap came in the 90s, but now in the 2020s. So,
So when you listen to our music, you can easily hear some of the influences that Jay and I had. Um,
definitely.
and a lot of the music that you hear today, especially on mainstream radio, a lot of it is the type of music that's pushed from major labels,
Definitely.
and it's stuff that you know. There's obviously a market for it because stuff like that is selling and is doing it very well. But there's some people who just don't dig a lot of that stuff. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But when me and Jay go into the studio and we create music, we don't necessarily think, okay, what do we think people would like? We go based off of what we think is best for our music. So like
Definitely.
some of our projects that we got, like our album Set in Stone. I don't know if you got a chance to hear that one, but it's available on all the streaming platforms. It's got more of like a darker, melancholy theme,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because when we were creating it, that's not like the plan that we had to go into making that. That's just something that just ended up coming out of that.
Right.
And then when we did Valley Days, our album Valley Days, which is where that song was on with Bizarre that I sent you, we kind of wanted to give it more of like a old school hip hop vibe along with some singing. So like we did some older style hip hop instrumentals along with my boy Jay's vocals. But we just did what we felt was natural for us and that we know we would like.
Hell yeah.
Return that when we bring it out to the world, hoping that other people can, like what we made. So, as far as like music that's being put out now, like I don't really see like our music being in the same genre or playlist as like bigger named artists. And that's
Right.
not like I'm knocking myself or knocking the other artists. It's just that some of the topics. I mean, you hear it all the time in hip hop, man. Some of the topics that are being talked about, like I know a big thing is in music now is talking about drugs, guns,
Yeah.
money, weed. Like, if that's your lifestyle, cool, bro. I mean, I live what you know, but it's very saturated and it's everywhere. And sometimes I get tired of hearing that, and so does Jay too. And there's also a lot of people that get tired of hearing that as well. So, I heard somebody say recently that there's no art in music nowadays, and I was like, you know what, man? There's art in music, um, but I said it's underground. It's harder to find. There's some music that you hear on the radio, in my opinion, that some of it's good. Like I dig it, but most of it's just regurgitating stuff that you hear all the time. Same thing with country music.
Right.
I'm not knocking country music. I love older style country music. Guys like Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson. I can go on and on and on. But some of that pop country stuff now, man, it's stuff in every song, a lot like hip hop. But that's the great thing about music now. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. Same thing with our stuff. Like we try to make our stuff in a way that we want people to listen to it, but we can't please everybody, man.
You're
There's
right.
gonna be people that don't like it. Um, like I said, if you don't like it, don't listen to it. Move on with it.
All right, so let's get this back on road. What do you do for fun?
Oh man. Um, so out, well, I outside of making music and creating music and crafting music, I find that fun. It's much more like a woosah for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, outside of music, man, I would say I haven't done it in the last year or so, but I do train and I weightlift quite a bit. For the last 4 years, I've been competing in strongman competitions. I don't know if
Nice.
you ever seen those.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
like those guys that are like lifting logs and
the name is Big Body for a reason.
big body too, man. I'm almost pushing 3 bills, so don't let this black hoodie and this pants fool you. I got some.
Bro, so full disclosure, 2 years ago, I was 375 pounds. Like, I got diagnosed with diabetes. It was really bad. My wife was like, you need to do something about it. And like, I weighed in this morning, I was like 268. So like, I'm wondering if I need to lose the big body name now. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta be medium body.
Right?
Medium body.
You know, it doesn't have the same ring to it, but whatever.
Yeah. You know, man, when I did my last big strongman competition, it was July of 2022. I weighed in at say like 310 or 315.
Mm-hmm.
And I got back down to like 258. I kind of fell off the bandwagon and gained some of it back. I'm now back up to like 274.
Mm-hmm. How tall are you?
Yeah, but I'm just trying to stay somewhere where I feel good, where I feel healthy. I got a pretty physically demanding job, so I gotta have like some sort of strength for that.
What do you do?
So I deliver beer.
Hell yeah.
I deliver like kegs and cases of beer to like bars and restaurants around the Twin Cities.
Hell yeah. It's the best job ever right there.
You know what, man? It's a good job because I get a discount on beer.
Fell off the back of the truck.
Yeah, fell off the back of the truck. It was freaky. I get to see a lot of new cool bars and restaurants that are around town. You know, I get to bring my wife to places that I get to deliver to because I got to see them firsthand. But the thing is about delivering kegs like I do, man, it's very physically demanding because some of those kegs are actually a lot of the half barrels that I deliver. They're about 160 pounds a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And there's days where me and the other guy are delivering over 100 of them a day. And that's not even including going into old coolers and rotating the old stuff out, picking those up, moving those around, putting those back in. So it's a fun job because I get to drive around and travel around a bit and see places. But man, there's days where I come home and I don't want to do anything.
Bro,
I want a beer, I want something to eat, and I'm out.
So I used to work unloading trailers at FedEx. You know those guys that get there at 2:00 in the morning and unload the freight trailers. Yeah. I did that job for funsies back when I thought I was hot shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like 235 pounds, like 8% body fat. I was like, yeah, I got this. Back brace on, just slinging stuff. And then I was like, you know, why am I doing this? Why am I
busting my body?
Right. And then, 29 years old, back surgery, can't do nothing. I've already torn up 2 discs in my back, And then I realized now that we all prostitutes who's just, who got paid better. You know what I'm saying? Because I was making like $12 an hour to unload a semi in 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I should have went for OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I told my wife I was trying to start an OnlyFans for her feet. I was like, you ain't got to show your face. She's like, I'm not doing that.
Man, Feet Finder's rough, bro. You can't make no money.
I said it's all fun and games, so you ain't got to clock in no more.
Right.
I'll be the Martin Scorsese of taking shots of feet.
So full seriousness, I got a video called Artist. It's part of my artist development series. It's with a financial advisor. His named Gary Schleisinger. I know I ruined his name. I know I did. I'm sorry, man. But we discussed a lot of these things as surviving as an artist. And part of that was realizing that you're worth more than you think you are. So if you take a job, you got to make so much money a day to not just be losing money by surviving. And part of that was, hey, if I got to make $300 a day in order to thrive, I need to bill accordingly. And as a young artist, especially when I was 17, 18 years old, I'd be like, yeah, I'll work for free. I'll work for exposure. I'll work for a beer tab. I'll work for tips. And I never realized how much that cost me. Because, A, if you work for free, ain't nobody finna pay you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And right now, part of this whole thing, this interviewing series, is to introduce people to real life artists, how they live their lives, how they do things. And one of the biggest things I explain to people is stuff like this. This shirt, $25. if you sell them at your gigs or whatever,
Hmm.
usually high quality double print shirts like this usually cost you $12, $13. Selling $25, $30 at your shows, and that'll make you more money than what you get from the house. That'll make you more money than anybody coming and streaming your stuff on Spotify for show. You know what I'm saying?
Big time, big time.
Physical CDs, merch, references, teaching, helping other people get going. Those are the ways that artists can survive without tossing kegs. So, like, just in case you don't have it yet, get you something set up. Get them added to your repertoire. Get them added to your tickets. When people come to your shows, make sure you've got a shirt. Make sure that you got a squishy ball or a beanie. I mean, you're in Minnesota. Make sure you have a beer with your name on it. You know what I'm saying? Something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So like the thing with us, like, because me and with like I said, I can't necessarily speak all the way for Jay. I can just speak what I know. Because like me and Jay, we're both working regular jobs.
Mm-hmm.
With my job, the nice thing I like about my job is because I do get a decent balance with it. I work 4 days a week, but I'm working 40 to 45 hours in 4 days.
Right.
But the nice thing about that though is that gives me the 3 days I have off to focus on other things that need to be focused on. So I try to have this balance of like work, family, and trying to build up this music stuff. So for years now, me and Jay have been investing money that we're making back into ourselves, because right now we're at this point where we're not making a huge profit, hardly any profit at all. But also at the same time, we're still in the beginning stages of this stuff. We've only put out our first album just a year and a half ago.
Oh yeah.
So we're trying to find this balance. And what we're doing now is we're investing money into the business, investing money into our business account. And we're buying things like recently, like our big investment was getting into Steven Slate's audio. So we bought Steven Slate's headphones. We bought Steven Slate's mixing and plugins and engineering and mastering programs. So because we're trying to bring out a more fuller and better sound for the music that we're creating. We're also we're slowly getting into merch. Like we were also able to get like Statues lighters. We thought were pretty cool. So
that's dope.
That we're kind of doing on the side. We're trying to get into like hoodies, shirts, stocking caps, things like that to help us make money. And we're trying to another thing too is like it's pretty slim for us to do shows. Believe it or not, man, in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities right now, there's not a huge hip hop scene here. As weird as I may make that sound, like there's music here, there's tons of it.
Right.
There's not a lot of places to showcase the hip hop, and if there is a spot for it, it doesn't work well with mine and Jay's schedule.
Oh yeah.
The work and family, and like the thing is, I got a wife and 2 kids, and I can't just leave at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night and go
do a show. Right.
So it's not always convenient, but I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm trying to find like other avenues and ways around that in order to make us thrive in this hip hop stuff. And a lot of that starts with networking and reaching out to people like you, because I've reached out to multiple people who run music platforms and podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff like that. And the fact that you guys give artists a platform to showcase us and talk to us and do things like that, man, it's amazing. Because if you would have asked me a year and a half ago, 2 years ago about stuff like this, it would have been a giant question mark. So a big shout out to guys like you, man, that showcase us, because it helps out a lot. It's another avenue for exposure when we can't do other things that are convenient for us.
Oh yeah. Actually, I have cousins in Minneapolis, I believe. Okay. I think I have. They are people that have been on a side of family that we haven't really been connected with until recently. But it's really cold up there, and it's cold for like 9 months out of the year, so I have no inclination to drive up to Minnesota.
The Minnesota weather, dude, is the most bipolar stuff you'll ever experience. Like, it'll be 60 and sunny one day, and be freaking 25 and freezing the next. It's like you don't know what to expect. So now we're in the end of November, so it's getting down to like
snow.
Just like
snow.
17, 20 degrees.
Right.
So Yeah, and I just bought a new snowblower, so
It's 30. It's supposed to be 30 degrees tonight, and I'm ready to die. You know what I'm saying?
man,
Like it was 46 degrees all day. I'm in Alabama, bro. Like it ain't supposed to be this cold. And
you know,
like
if you come up to Minnesota and it's 46 degrees, people are sporting shorts and t-shirts.
I believe it. I believe it. Like my wife's from Ohio. She's from like Cincinnati or whatever. Right. It's like
Yeah,
we went to visit her family in May and there was snow on the ground. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know? And
it's so weird here, man.
so like like we used to get snow every 4 years, and now we like the past couple of years we've gotten just a little bit of snow every year, and I'm like interior wise just dying thinking about it, cause don't nobody own a snowplow, nobody's got blowers, nobody's got winter tires. We don't even have salt trucks here. You know what I'm saying? Like if we get snow, they're gonna bring salt trucks in from Kentucky. So like
They got salt trucks here. Them things are going at 1, 2, 3 in the morning on these highways, man.
like I see them. Everybody and their mama's gonna plow. You know what I'm saying? And a salt spreader. You know what I'm saying? Folks just be making money for no reason. Just hey, I got a 4x4. I'll spread some stuff out. I'll come show your driveway for you.
Not a bad hustle, man. I'll probably mess around, throw one on my Dodge Dart. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is winter time. People need them driveways plowed, them streets plowed.
I get it, but at the same time, our trucks don't fall apart in 10 years either. You know what I'm saying? I got a 2011 set outside right now. It's pristine. It's a turbo diesel and everything. It's just super nice. And I ain't doing nothing to it till it fall apart. You know what I'm saying?
Same thing with mine. I got a 2013 Dodge Dart, but mine's a stick shift though. It's not a Manny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so used to driving stick shift cars that's kind of all I drive now. But this thing's been treating me good, man. The only like big replacement I've had to do was the bearings in the back, and then just lights and
Mm-hmm.
typical maintenance stuff. But it's kind of weird, like, seeing a big dude driving in a car like that because I always get clowned on.
I bet. That's a tiny car.
It is. If I ever break down, I can just Flintstone that son of a bitch.
Right?
Just
pushing it down the street.
Yep, just pick it up and start walking. But yeah, not the same thing, man. I plan on riding this thing till the wheels fall off, and I've already got money set aside to get a new one because I think this might be my last winter with this thing. Cause I've had it for like 8 or 9 years now, and I've been running it this ground.
Oh Jesus! All right, so if you could perform anywhere, where would it be?
Man, you know what? It's an easy question, and it's going to be a biased question. First Avenue. Actually, you know what? Here's the thing. I say First Avenue in Minneapolis. I have performed there before. I performed there in it was like in high school with Jay. They did like an open mic night there.
That's awesome.
Like hip hop and stuff like that. But First Avenue is like one of the bigger major music venues in the Twin Cities. It used to be owned by Prince.
Right.
But every artist, they host hip hop artists there, rock bands. You name it. And if you ever seen First Avenue, they have stars surrounding the entire building, and they have artists' names surrounding the building who have sold out First Avenue.
Oh, that's dope.
So if you're an artist who has sold out First Avenue, you'll get your name on a star on one of the stars in the building. But I would love to go there and perform there again. Because in high school it was high school. I had high school energy, high school, that wasn't really the performance I probably wanted to do. But I would love to go back there now and put on a show and rock it.
Hell yeah.
It was a spot that I would really like to go back and visit again.
All right. So, tell me about your track, The Bank Job. What inspired you to write it? What does the song mean to you? How does it make you feel when you hear it?
So, that song. So there's multiple ways I approached it. I came up with the idea of the song, but Dave's the one who kind of like added more color to the picture when it came to that. So like, I came up with the idea of like this, these two dudes going in and robbing the bank and taking the money and running off with it, like your typical, bank robbery story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with the idea of that. I picked out the beat, and I sent it to Bizarre. Actually, let me backtrack that. So Jay had this idea. If you listen to the song on the third verse, Jay is the third verse, and he kind of, in his verse, he sounds like this incompetent cop, right? That kind of like fucks up and kind of like ruins everything, right? So Jay came up with the idea of this character of the incompetent cop that adds to the story, where me and Bizarre both play like the bank robbers going in and taking the money, and Jay's like this stupid cop that lets them end up getting away with the money, and so on and so forth. But the fact that Bizarre, because I didn't really communicate with Bizarre as far as like how the song is going to go and what the song was about. He just kind of took it, listened to it, and kind of put his own thing to it. And what we got back from Bizarre was exactly what fit the song and what we needed.
That's dope.
And as far as like me, how I feel about it, man, I'm super stoked even now. Like the fact that I have a song with a hip hop legend is incredible. Like can't nobody ever take that away from me. That's a part of me and Jay until we both die.
Yeah, that's super dope.
And it only goes up from there, man. There's more artists that I've talked to and that I've reached out to that we're going to be working on for this next project that I hope can come through and do some work with us. So.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm gonna play this track. This is The Bank Job featuring Bizarre.
Down your mask and obey. Better put that caption away. Out goes the flash, light up the match, pouring that gas in your way. Do what you're told, this is a robbery, a stick up. The weight I hold, don't bother me. The side of be a step up, make them holler for they mama. Have them face plant to the floor. Scraping dollars, moving commas when them gangsters hit the dope. Ski mask on the face, cause they plan on getting ice. Yeah, these villains make a killing, so don't make them say it twice. Suit and ties or baggy clothes, either way they'll take a heist. Just know they all about the come up, making others pay the price. Okay, you dancing with the devil. Outlaws and rebels, some don't even wear a mask when the cash is embezzled. Red dots on the cameras and on them hammers too. Got the duffel bags filled to the brim with the loot. Yeah, infringing is a business that them robbers really do. Some will smile while they do it just like politicians do. Let's go. Sound the alarm, this is a bank job. About to shuffle up some paper for the bank rob. I got a plan that's in demand for the safe spot. We about to make out like some kings if the take's hot. Okay, now sound the alarm, this is a bank job. About to shuffle up some paper for the bank rob. I got a plan that's in demand for the safe spot. We about to make out like some kings if the take's hot. Come on.
Everybody get down on the fucking floor! You have 4 seconds. Anyone still standing, get shot.
Off the shoulder, big old boulder, 32 shot, one in the holster. Run up in the bank like, run y'all shit. Everything you done, I done that shit. Hit the door, block the exit. Call of Duty, I'm playing Tetris. Set it off, I done shot Stoney. 3 in the morning, just robbed the Coney. I'm Kung Fu Joe mixed with Captain Kirk. Don't pop shit out, pop your shirt. The Mac at work, watch it squirt. Bringing hot shit, I'm serving jerk.
Sound the alarm, this is a bank job. About to shuffle up some paper for the bank rob. I got a plan that's in demand for the safe spot. We about to make out like some kings if the take's hot. Okay, now sound the alarm, this is a bank job. About to shuffle up some paper for the bank rob. I got a plan that's in demand for the safe spot. We about to make out like some kings if the take's hot. Come on.
Fucking Sarge put me on the beat shit. Can't stand his whole ass, he can eat shit. Fuck it, let me cross the street quick. Walk into the bank to see what girl is working this shift. I really like them lollipops, and they like me cause I'm a cop. I walk in there and talk the talk, I start to think and then I stop. Look through the glass and realize this bitch is getting robbed. I can't believe this shit. You mean to say I gotta do my job? Should've took the damn day off. I call it in and grab my Glock. Beat the situation, get intense, running and pop one off. Now everybody's freaking out. I hit one guy, he's leaking out. Gotta duck and dodge because his partner's trying to take me out. Car tires squeal outside, I hear them scream and shout. Bullets flying over my head, pray that I make it out. breath of relief when the shooting finally does stop. They don't pay me enough for this dumb job, man, I'm gone.
Sound the alarm, this is a bank job. About to shuffle up some paper for the bank rob. I got a plan that's in demand for the safe spot. We about to make out like some kings if the take's hot. Okay, now sound the alarm, this is a bank job. About to shuffle up some paper for the bank rob. I got a plan that's in demand for the safe spot. We about to make out like some kings if the take's hot. Come on.
Hey, this is Officer Brown at the fucking bank, man. Where the fuck is everybody at? These crazy motherfuckers done got away.
All right. Whew. All right. So that was interesting. I definitely feel like my monitor is quite a bit louder now. Okay. All right. So that was the bank job. You good? Okay, you back. All right, awesome. Yep. All right. So, do you have any current projects you want to tell everybody about?
You know what? Me and my boy Jay, we are working on a new album right now. We're kind of in the beginning stages of it right now. We only got like 2 or 3 songs somewhat like written and recorded. We have more songs written, but we just don't have a lot of songs recorded yet. We don't really have a name for the project yet, but we do have a direction that we want to take this, and it is a direction that's different from anything that we've ever done before. I want to give it away without really giving it away. I'll say that it's still hip hop, but it's messing hip hop with other genres and sounds.
Yeah.
It's doing something that we've never done before. It's stepping outside of our comfort zone, but also trying to make it still sound us and make it still be us.
Make it authentic.
But what I can say is the first couple songs that we've gotten so far are really interesting, and I dig them a lot. So we still got quite a bit of work to do on this. We don't really have like a pinpoint when this album will be done. You know, it could be 6 months, could be a year, could be 2 years. I have no idea. But me and Jay do plan on dropping like some standalone singles leading up to the project to give people an idea of what to look forward to.
Oh, yeah. All right. Any last shout outs? Anybody you want to thank? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Welcome back.
Okay.
Any last shout outs? Anybody you want to thank?
You know what, man? I'd like to thank my boy Jay for putting up with my shit this entire.
You're breaking up again.
To
all right.
Like Bizarre, Liquid Assassin, Eddie Kane, all these guys that came through and worked on the previous project. And I'd like to give a shout out to you, man, for reaching out to us and giving us and letting us on your platform to talk our music and just discuss life things, period, man, because a lot of people don't do that. You know, I feel a lot of people don't. I feel like a lot of people don't really reach out to us a whole lot and give us an opportunity and a chance to talk and just discuss music, discuss life, and just discuss anything we want. So again, man, I appreciate it. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that is all I got for you. So you guys take it easy, and we'll holler at you later.
Peace.